what I mainly want to talk about is the patient groupings or patient categories, the profile, template profiles, and categories. First place we need to go is probably go to when you first start setting up, just go to list. Under document template categories, here's where you can set up your categories for your templates. The thing about categories is originally I had planned for it to be more useful than it turned out to be, but mostly it's for organizing templates in the portal itself so that any category assigned to a template actually becomes a directory or a subtitle in the portal pull down for documents. So if you have a templates assigned to intake, then you'll have a section in your pull down for selecting new documents in the portal under intake. That's about the extent I've taken categories. Maybe in the future, it'll have more meaning, but for now, once I went to profiles, categories became moot. So you have your category templates. You can go here, you can have as many categories as you want, ID in the title, and they will show up in the template maintenance. Another list will be template profiles. Profiles is a place for you to group templates into a logical order of some sort. Like all your registration templates could go under registration profile, mental health, et cetera, et cetera. These are just my defaults, but you can change them to whatever you want. I just recommend keeping with the ID naming convention the way it's set up. But as far as title goes, it can be as whatever you like, and it can be as many as you like within reason. I wouldn't think that 10 or 15 would be unreasonable. Depends on your patient population and the diversity of your patient population. And the last list you need to be concerned about is groupings. When I call patient groupings, they're really categories. Once again, you can add to the list, you can rename the list, the titles in the list for like all patients with diabetes may be a title here, diabetes or what have you. So it's a way to group your patient population under subgroups or categories. Everybody see that so far? Okay, now there's two ways to add a patient to groups. On registration, you can do it from demographics under choices. See patient categories here. You do an edit. You can come down here and add patients to your groups. Or another way to get to template maintenance is from the title bar, assign documents. From here, you can assign patients to groups. And you can do it en masse, so it's a lot easier. To pull them out of a group, just pull them over here, the left panel, and to add them, just pull them in. Now they won't duplicate. You don't have to worry about sorting or any of that stuff. It's all taken care of for you. Now profiles is handled in the profile screen. You'll have all your available templates on the left and all your profiles are on the right from your profile lists. So you can drag templates in and out of various profiles. You can have a template appear in more than one profile. Like HIPAA document. Can't appear here again, but it can go here. Same thing for deleting them, just pull them in and out to manage it. The other thing about profiles is that you can schedule profiles. What this is reoccurring. If profile is reoccurring, all templates in the profile will reoccur after a certain number of days. If this is 0, they'll automatically reoccur after the patient is finished and submitted for review. The insurance info will pop back up if they want to use it again in the future. Otherwise, it will count the number of days after it goes to review. It starts when it goes to review, not once it's reviewed. Decided if we wait around for admin to review it, it may take a week or something. So as far as the patient is concerned, once it goes to review, they're finished with it. So that's when the timer starts. Does everybody see that?
Yeah. Hey, Jerry, can I ask a dumb question?
Sure.
Maybe some of the people who, well, for my benefit and maybe some of the people who aren't as familiar with this, can you give a brief explanation of what a template is? Like I see here, we've got HIPAA document, privacy document, schedule. Can you explain like what is a template? What are templates used for?
Well, templates turn in documents in the patient portal. So I was going to get to that. There's two ways to get to
yeah, no, if you're going to explain it, like just you can go to that later.
No, I can go to it right now. It's fine. I just wanted to explain these main profiles, grouping, and assign first, and we'll get to the template. Now, once you have your groups of patients assigned, you can assign them to your profiles, right? Absolutely. Actually, while you're in this screen, you can also assign patients to groups and then come back. So I try to make it as easy as possible. In this case, I think I assigned everybody to group 1, which I want to have in my defaults. I could just as easily add, there was individuals in group 2, it's not actually, well, they would be in group 1. Just say.
What are the purpose of the groups?
The groups are patient categories. They're a category of patients that you may want to categorize all your patients that are in mental health, right? Or all your patients that's under opioid treatment, or all your patients that are diabetics, or all your patients that are relatable to some set of a group, so that it makes sense when you assign them to profiles. So if you had a group of all your diabetic patients and you had a profile of diabetic templates, then it would be natural just to assign that diabetic patients to that diabetic template profile rather. Does that make sense?
Then, yeah, then is there a way to label groups? Because then, so you know which one is the diabetic group and the mental health group?
Yeah, it's part of what I was showing earlier back in the list editor. Under patient groupings, you can rename these groups to whatever you want to be. Give me a title for something.
Well, like what you said, diabetic or mental health.
So you can assign all your mental health patients to that grouping. Or, it's going to vary from practice to practice. So it's flexible enough. Name it what makes sense to you. Is that clearer now, or am I still missing it? Hello?
I think it's on mute, but it makes sense.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's good. I have a lot of background, so I have to keep on switching mute on and off if I talk. Yeah, that makes sense. That's good.
Well, once you, when you first set up the portal, first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna come in. In prior versions of the portal, we was managing all your templates in the file system. I moved that all into a table. So the new portal, when you install it, you're gonna have to upload your existing templates. You do that here from the upload, where you can go out and upload your template. You can have more than one template, et cetera, et cetera. And when you upload it, automatically puts them in the repository. Like there's that consent form. Did you see that, everybody? Or did I do it too fast?
I saw it.
Okay.
Uh,
So when you upload, you can upload to a category if you want, but it always gets uploaded to the template repository because all template management takes place in the template repository. So it's your core template directory. Another thing about the scope bar, it follows all your views here, follows what's in the scope bar. Like if you select intakes, it's only going to show you anything pertaining to intakes. Same thing with patients. Do all patients here. And we'll get to this in a little bit. But back to templates. Template is basically a text file or an HTML file that gets rendered in the portal to a document. So taking, take the privacy document. It's basically a text file. It can have HTML in it, et cetera, to where you tag directives into the file for rendering in the portal. So like in this case, you want an admin signature. Has yes.
I don't think we can see your.
You need to share that screen.
Oh, okay.
You
Let me
may have
bring
to
it up.
share. You may have to share your desktop again
All right.
to be able to see multiple screens when you do share screen. Like you can share your whole desktop. I think you'll have to.
Not seeing.
I think you have to close the share and then do a reshare to switch it to entire desktop.
All right. I'm saying that I can share entire desktop portions, computer, audio, video.
Usually it's the one that has like all the windows on it. Let's see. Sometimes it can be tough because it can just show the one window at the top.
Oh, control is like multiple.
It may be labeled like desktop one. At least it's how it works on mine. Oh, you got it.
I should be able to see. Can you see that now?
Yep. We're good.
Okay. I got there. If you go up here, there's a full editor that you can pop out or it can be a dialogue. I have the default to a pop out window. So in case of privacy document, it is just a smattering of text and HTML. Where you add directives anywhere in the form to get rendered in the portal. Like here we have referring doc.
Hey Jerry, I'm trying to show that screen again. It's still not. You closed it, so
You're kidding.
you may need to just want to do the dialogue option instead of the full
Yeah.
one.
All right, hang on a second.
There you go. Now I see it.
All right. This is CK editor. You have source. Yeah, the red bar. Get out full screen. At any rate, the whole point of this is for setting up a text template or HTML template and adding your directives to get parsed in the portal. Now, some of these directives are on the wiki, but I need to add all of them. There's quite a few. There's still some that's not even listed here, but you can drag a directive and drag it in wherever you need it to go. So all you're doing is building a text document with directives that the portal understands. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
This could be HTML, it could be text and HTML, it could be just HTML, it could be just text. It just can't be a Word doc or any XML doc or anything else like that, because I have no way to render it in the portal. So OpenEMR comes, the portal comes with oh, 4 or 5 default templates: help, HIPAA, privacy, and insurance and medical history. So templates, I'm going to do a whole series on the templates here coming pretty soon. So I didn't want to get too bogged down in it. Most people that's been using the portal have a general idea how to do it, but the only thing you have to remember is that they are text documents. They're not Word documents or any of that. And you can use HTML and text, or however you have to format it to make it look good in the portal. But generally, it's just you switch over to source to see any of your tags or anything that's appropriate. And I generally like to edit from the source, but other people don't. So I just prefer using an outside editor and just importing the document after I'm done with it.
So Jerry, if I can just clarify to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying here, if that's all right. So we have all of these templates that users like all of my patients can go in and they can fill those out. But if I want to give like a group, like a bunch of those templates to either a group of patients or to a single patient, this is where kind of the profiles and the groups all come into play, is to be able to send those all of that documents and paperwork that I want to be filled out to my patients, right? In kind of a simpler one-click type of thing. Well, not one click, but fewer clicks than if I was doing it to each one individually, right?
Two main focuses that I had when I did all this was in prior versions of the portal, you had to send, if you wanted a specific patient to get a specific template, you had to send it to them. So if you had 500 patients, it gets to be a pain to do. The second and more important reason is for setting it and forgetting it. So with the new setup now, if I came to profiles, let me just finish this real quick. We'll come back to this. Once you have your profile set up, then all you have to do is activate them in the portal. And if they're checked or unchecked, that means they're active or not active. So once you activate these profiles in the portal, you don't have to look at them again. So if I wanted to, I could come back to the profile here, add a new template up here, and that's all there is to it. I just, it's automatically, it's in the patient's portal for whoever's in those groups profile. So the gist here is that it's just a matter of adding or removing templates from profiles and groups. You don't have to worry about what patient gets what profile or what template at any given time, and whether he's completed the template or not. And if he has, do I need to resend it, et cetera, et cetera. That's where the reoccurring and the scheduling came in. But once you have all this done, like we can look at all patients. We don't have that many. This view will show you all assigned templates that's in the portal for that patient at that given time. It'll give you a brief status of where they're at. Like in this case, privacy document was sent for review. It hasn't been reviewed yet, and it's scheduled to go back to the patient next year, 365 days. So the only thing that doesn't show up in patient assigned templates are default templates. So if you have anything default, these default patient templates means every patient gets those templates that's in this category or in this view. That is going away. I almost took it out. I decided for legacy, I'd leave it in a little while longer. The preferred method is in profiles, have all your default templates in one profile so you can schedule them, and then assign all patients to one group and assign it to that profile. Because the way it stands now, default patient templates, once it's done, they don't get to see that template again. Used to be it turned back up, but nobody liked that. So have I lost you guys yet?
No, hey, this is Brady. I mean, it sounds super flexible. So like one possible use case, just so I understand it, could be I could have like all my diabetes patients grouped as a diabetic group. Then I could have two profiles, like a diabetic general profile and then a diabetic recurring profile, where the diabetic general profile would be assigned templates for like a one-time sort of form for a patient to fill out. And the recurring could be, I could set like, okay, every year I want you to fill out these templates. Would that be correct?
That's exactly right.
Correct use. Okay.
Thanks for clarifying that. It's overly versatile, which sometimes I regret and sometimes I'm happy about. But
no, it's I mean, that's it, but it'll be allowed. I mean, you could use it for a huge amount of use cases. So that was
generally,
just one.
smaller practices might only have one or two groups of patients and just want to reoccur. There's annual forms that always have to do for privacy and HIPAA and all that other stuff. But larger practices like pain management is what got me down this road, was a pain management group. And mental health, those forms and questionnaires, they get pretty complicated and they have to reoccur over, every 30 days or every 60 days. Like in pain management case, every 3 months, you have to do an agreement or something. So, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
It appears more complicated than it really is, I think.
It's good. I mean, it's very similar to the way the ACL kind of works, where you do groupings and then put them in profiles. It makes a lot of sense because rather than doing the one step of just throwing everybody into profiles directly. So I think it's very, it's a better way that you're doing it, I think, in terms of organizing.
Managing templates, especially if you have, 30 or 40 templates, it can get tedious if you don't start, placing them in some sort of category so you can manage them. So, yeah.
Great. I'll let you keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Well, that pretty much finishes that up. I mean, there's not much more to it.
How how does it look in the portal, like from the
Yeah,
patient perspective?
We're gonna go do that here in a
Okay, cool.
second. First, anybody got any questions on this part of it? Main thing here is to remember that used to be we did things on the file system. We no longer do that. You have to import your templates. I currently don't have an export. I'm not sure if I'm going to do an export for existing templates or not. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Right now, I'm just cutting and pasting. It's easier. Another thing here too is PDF documents are handled differently. I want to bring that up. When you upload a PDF document, you don't get to send it anywhere. It just gets assigned an ID and a template name. Like in this case, just an example, it's a HIPAA form. My understanding is in mental health and other things, there's acknowledgement documents that patients have to read and acknowledge that they've read it. So that's the reason for this here. So I added a directive that acknowledge PDF. You can add the ID or the title of the document and add a label for it. And if you want them to sign it, add a patient signature. And I'll show you in the portal how that renders. It can be for other things. And I've been looking at a library that I'm thinking about bringing in that we can do fillable PDFs in the portal. I think that'd be a big deal. And it wouldn't be that much development involved. Just going through the licensing and checking all that part of it out, but that's in my plans. Another thing in patient assigned templates, the only time you can delete out of patient assigned templates is if you directly send a template to a patient. Don't know why you'd want to do that. I discourage people doing that, but you can do it. It could be just a one-time billing form or something. You want to. That's the only time you'll see a delete in patient assigned templates. But this whole view comes from your groups and profiles. So that's why it's, if you don't want HIPAA document to no longer be part of group one or in this profile for default, you just pull it out back at the profiles and it'll no longer appear. So once you have it set up, you should be good to go. The only time you'll ever have to mess with it is if you want to add templates or get rid of templates. And like I said, that can all be done from the dashboard as well with assigned templates. You get the same thing, except when you come in here, it's automatically selected for Jason Binder, and any of his templates are there. You can assign or what have you. So mainly that's for registration. So let's see. Can you guys see my portal screen?
Hey, Jerry, can I ask a question about the deleting thing?
Yeah.
Before we jump into the patient side. So if someone removes a template from a group,
Yeah.
all prior, like it's not going to remove any prior documents of the patient. Like if it's a recurring,
No.
like
No.
all they filled out previously will still be there. They just won't
Yeah.
get future recurring documents, right?
Right.
Okay. And the
That's
same
it.
thing if you delete, like if you were to delete a whole profile or a whole group, like it's not going to, it just removes anything that they haven't filled out yet, right? So if they've been assigned a bunch of things and you delete a group or you delete a profile, right, it's just going to remove them being able to fill out new documents. But anything that
There's,
they're currently editing or anything that they've saved, like that's all going to exist, right?
yeah. There's three distinct workflows to the portal. You have your management maintenance side, right? That sends and allows templates to appear in the portal. After that, once the patient selects that template, it becomes a document. Once he saves it, has a completely different workflow than it's no longer tagged back to template maintenance. It's on its own quest. So it's separate. It gets stored off as that template, an edited template, and any retrieval in the future will come from a different location. It'll be the copy of the original document that is edited. And then you got your audit, which is on the back end that shows people's deleted, when it got reviewed, et cetera, et cetera. So once the patient opens this in the portal and he saves it, it isn't tied back to template assignments.
Okay. I figured you'd already addressed that use case, but that's how I assumed it would work. I just wanted to clarify, make sure
Nope.
that's going in my head.
Glad you did. As far as what we're looking at here for template maintenance, all that, it only puts those templates in the portal. After that, you know, it's meaningless to the rest of the process, i.e. review, editing, what have you. So removing insurance from registration here, regardless what I do anywhere else, next time that patient comes in to registration, he won't have that insurance form there any longer. But if he had one that he had edited prior, that he's either in editing mode or he's sent it for review, it's not affected. Yeah, I've said that in like 3 different ways, so I'm hoping it makes sense.
That makes sense, Gary. Thank you.
Okay. All right, let me now on the portal side, everybody see the screen?
Yeah.
Wow, that was slow. Fat fingers. All right, one thing about the portal now is if patient has any messages, automatically gets sent to a secure messaging screen. Like in this case, he's got a pending message and it looks like it's from admin. So otherwise, if he doesn't have any messages, the landing page for portal is patient documents. With patient documents set up, remember I was talking about having categories. In this case, I assigned 2 templates to category intake. So it's subdivided in the documents pull down. Otherwise, this is where the patient selects his templates. Sign them, fill them out, what have you.
Is that the profile name that shows up there, Gary? That group,
Where?
that intake thing, is that the profile?
No, category.
Oh, the category. Okay.
Yeah. The only reason categories is around now is to, if you want to be specific in the patient portal, let him know these are intake documents he needs to do, or registration, or however you want to categorize them.
Just important that people are aware that the patient's going to see that whatever you categorize it as, they're going to see that title. Yeah.
And he knows that these 2 templates are intake templates or intake documents. Another thing about here is that if they've already sent it for reviewed and has been reviewed, or it's being edited, like we have one in review, one being edited, it'll show up as red so that they can go ahead and select it. They don't have to go to history. Pretty straightforward. I mean, history's theirs if they want to come back and say download that for the records, they can. So any questions? Actually, it's a lot simpler than I was thinking it was going to be. I mean, I don't know how I can make it any simpler. I'll take suggestions, but
Yeah, this is Brady. I like it just because I was trying to just get all the concepts down. So really a profile is really a template profile, right? That would be just it's just a grouping of templates, and then a group is actually a patient group, correct? It's just a grouping of patients.
yeah, you have patient categories, which I don't know why I called them groups, but they are groups. They're groups of categories. I
Oh
guess.
yeah, I was just trying to get a handle on the on the profile, because there's a lot of profile group buttons, and I just realized that when it's a profile, it means that it's a template profile, like it's a grouping of templates, and when it's a group, it's actually a patient group. So that's helpful for me to
Yeah,
figure that out.
the profile was, I had to decide, was I going to schedule on a template by template basis, or was I going to group set of templates to schedule? And I decided to go with the group templates because scheduling on a template by template basis, I just don't have the back end structurally set up to do that.
Oh yeah.
Maybe eventually, but it just made sense. And going back 2 years ago, everybody kept asking, except they were calling them categories, but that really turned into a profile more than categories. But I guess what's in the name?
Yeah,
right?
and the category is helpful for categorizing, like when you have to make a list view like this, because
Yeah. You can have a profile of mental patients and have categories under mental patients as, I don't know, questionnaires or intake or mental patient registration forms or what have you. It's more for the benefit of keeping track of what your templates are and what they do. And I couldn't think of any other use for category other than I was going to get rid of it. But I'm keeping it around because some people actually like to have their menu in the portal segregated using categories. So I don't know. Comes from feedback I get from these folks over the past few years.
And so that your documents is just the ones that they need to complete, right? Not the ones that they've completed. The completed ones go into the history, right?
Right. Once they're reviewed, they always go into your history with their status. Like in this case, I've got insurance info is being edited, i.e. it's not been sent for review. Where I have privacy document is where the patient submitted the document.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, until it's reviewed, he can still edit that template. Say he decides that, I don't know, he doesn't want to sign it. He can send it back to review unsigned.
Okay.
So the only problem I have with all this is when you get on mobile, especially smaller phones, it's really difficult to do documents. And this is where I'm going to have to spend some time training how to create templates, because creating those templates is going to dictate how well they render on mobile devices. Like if we take history here, that's an LPF. spent quite a bit of time trying to get that to render.
Yeah, on the mobile phone.
On the mobile stuff. So, but you know, there's other templates that if you're not cognitive about how you're designing that template and you know what its audience is going to be, it becomes useless on the portal. So I'm going to have to spend some time on templates. And there, you know, you run into a skills gap. People
Yeah.
that know HTML, you know, they're far better off than say somebody just typing out a template, a text file and adding directives here and there.
And it looks like you can do another mechanism where you don't need to do a template. You can use a layout-based
Yeah.
layout. So you can have another way of.
Any layout form that you design, you can send it to the portal. That's done through a directive.
That was one of those LBF. It was LBF, wasn't there, something like that?
Yeah.
You need to turn off the full editor thing or share your screen
Oh, yeah, doggone it.
because we can't see what you're showing.
Well, I figure if I keep you guys in the dark, then I'm needed. Yeah, it's called encounter form because I had plans on other encounter forms besides LBFs. And the name of the LBF, in this case, history. Could be LBF PHQ9. I just didn't have time to import those. I don't have my PHQ9s in this new database. So once again, it's based upon these directives. I even added witness signature. People kept wanting that. I just still don't understand why they need witness signature. All the patient's got to do is sign it and say there's a witness. I mean, right? So
There may be some, I think blood transfusions sometimes need a witness, like from a nurse or something.
yeah, in mental health and pain management, they all want a witness. It's just, you know, too easy to fool. But that's on the patient, I guess.
Oh, you're right. On the portal, that is on you. You're right. That is odd from a portal side of things. Because usually that's a document you would sign in a clinic with a patient.
Yeah, right.
There, yeah, that is odd. The layout base, does that, when you save that, does that go through the layout base saving, or is that, does it still saved as a, like the way these templates are saved, they get audited and
Saved just like layout base forms are saved, encounter forms. It's saved to an encounter, not
okay.
to an encounter, but to an encounter form. And the encounter form gets assigned in the back end. So that workflow is all the same. I do some posting between my frames to LBF new, and they talk back and forth through iframes. It's kind of a beast to write, to be honest with you. Took me a while to get that right, but it seems to be working well now. History, when you chart the history, it goes straight to history.
Does it get audited, or does it?
Yeah.
So it gets audited first.
They still go through an audit. Let's see, where am I at here? I don't have an LBF. I just pulled in the history a little while ago. Anyway. So the LBF here, when it renders to the LBF print to a text document, just like LBF print would render it. Then to a PDF, and then to patient documents.
And it looks like that's the privacy document you did sign that you did in the chart, though. So that's,
yeah,
people.
That's the one I sent from the portal. This is the way history gets charted to document. I don't know why this wants to get on a new page, but certainly know he signed it, right?
Super font.
He
So
used to
Jerry,
work.
maybe this was already in Portal and I'm just not aware of it, but do the clinicians get notified when the documents have been completed, or vice versa? Do patients get notified when there's new documents for them to fill out in the portal?
No, because that's the landing page. They know there's documents in the portal.
Okay, so when they log in, right, then,
Yep.
okay,
You go straight to the portal. I don't do it's. I have plans on doing it. I was kind of waiting until you finished with all your event stuff in the portal.
mhm,
I want to add some notifications, but you have to be careful there, because if you got, say, 5,000 patients, of which 4,000 in the portal, and you start notifying when a template's ready to be reviewed, messages will turn into I found that out with labs, for orphaned labs and things like that.
yeah.
It was driving people crazy. Too many notifications.
Mhm.
So part of the workflow for the practice is that they know they have to review documents. So
Yeah, I wonder if, because I guess it would depend on, like you're saying, larger practices versus smaller practices, right? I wonder if that'd be something we just fire off an event off, and then, developers they can write modules to handle that, because there are ways to mitigate that with fan out mechanisms and things like that, but it's pretty complicated.
I agree, Stephen. It's right now the only notifications I send. What do I send notifications on? Appointments, I think, mainly.
Mhm.
If they create a new appointment, if I schedule a new appointment, et cetera, it'll send a notification to
To the provider or whoever the
Yeah.
person is. Right?
at least it used to.
Oh, I see you changed the appointment. It used to be kind of all horizontal. Now,
Yeah.
now they've got kind of that tile view. That's cool.
I had this originally like that. And Tyler changed it. I changed it back. He changed it again, and I dare him and defy him to come in and change it back. Now, we've got the real estate on small screens. It'll be responsive the way you'd expect it to, i.e., go to
Mhm.
columns, etc.
Yeah. I'm just thinking that there's a lot of, there's a lot of different things that module extensions and things that could be done here. This is awesome, Jerry.
Oh yeah, we could add to our API and subgroup appointments with basically any menu options. Be able to call them through an API of some sort, or through events. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking, even like your group events, adding people to groups, that's something, now that we have those groups, we didn't have groups in Fire, right? For ONC,
Yeah.
we have groups, we probably need to go in and make sure that those are available via ONC.
Well, when I added patient categories or patient groupings, I did it for the portal, but it could have far more uses than that. So that's why it's in demographics.
Yeah.
It'd be part of reporting. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I hate to dominate. Did other people have questions? Anyone else on the call? I know it takes a bit to unmute.
Yeah. So those appointments I made, I send a message New appointment was requested, go check it, etc. Should also appear in the dashboard. And it do. That's about the only notifications I do, I think. Although we're much closer to be able to do a whole bunch more now that, you know, the portal's organized again, and you've already got the events list, event dispatchers set up in there. So it won't be hard to add stuff to it.
Awesome. Awesome.
So I don't know what more I have. My main reason I want to get this out there was for the grouping in the template profiles. And that when you install, do patch 4, you're going to have to re-import your existing templates to repositories and then assign them. You can either put them where they were, or, you know, use the profiles and the patient groupings if you want, or you can just send them to default patients like most people have it, and that's it. So the upgrade is only going to be you're going to have to re-import your templates and assign them. I can't do that automatically.
Now, Jerry, that is a question. Like if someone's, so if I'm a clinician and I've got OpenEMR installed, you said that the templates are stored on the file system.
Right.
Place that people can easily go to find where those templates are to re-upload them?
Yeah,
Or-
it's a standard path that they're used to seeing. It's
Okay.
it's in documents under on-site patient something or another.
Okay. So they just need to go to that folder, grab those, and then they can upload those one by one.
Yeah, it's on-site portal documents, templates. Previously, categories, these were categories. I don't know if you can see that.
I can't see anything if you're trying
Okay, never mind. Yeah, they're in on-site portal documents under documents tree. And that's where legacies used to seeing them. So they just have to go there and upload them to the repository. And if they choose to use profiles, they can. If they choose not to use profiles, they don't have to. They can continue to use the portal the way they've been using it. The only hurdle I couldn't overcome automatically with legacy was moving from the file system to a table.
Mhm. Okay. Well, great job, Jerry.
I guess. All right, anybody got anything before I stop sharing? Guess not.
John was going to say something.
Yeah, and this is maybe a bit of a dumb question. I know it was sort of covered, but I just want to be clear that a template is essentially a form, right? I mean, I think of a template sort of like a Word template where you can create a document or form from a template with certain settings and so on. But what you're calling a template really is more already a form that a patient would fill out for some purpose. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can take an existing text form, right, and just add the directives to the form so that when the patient sees it in the portal, I can render what the directive is, say an input box or a checkbox or a date. I think we have like 4 dates now. So yeah, it's just, templates, I wouldn't know another word to call them, John.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay. It's a okay.
It does create a new document, John. So in the sense it matching that definition of what you're saying, it's
Okay.
a form that you fill out, but it creates a copy of that form every time the patient saves it.
Got it. Okay, great. Okay.
That's why it's
got it.
called a template.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we could figure out a better name, because that kind of threw me for a loop too, Jerry. I don't know what better name we would say though, because it makes sense. It is a template. But
Well, the next big change in the portal is going to be drag and drop form builder, where you can build your forms using drag and drop. You know, like you and I have talked about, Stephen, with the LBF, how we're going to attack that, or at least how I'm going to attack it. Same thing with the portal templates, except I'm also move it to encounter, so you can build encounter forms with it as well, similar to LBF, the companion with LBF. So you set up a template form for 4 columns, you drag and drop your labels and directives straight to the form.
yeah,
That's
That'd
the
be-
plan.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the drag and drop. That's going to be, I think, really powerful.
So what?
the drag and
Yeah.
drop. So when you
Oh,
get
yeah.
it done tomorrow, Jerry, he'll be happy to test it for you.
Yeah, I keep trying to get people to come on board with me and help me with it. Like Sherwin was all gung ho to do it, and he's gotten himself busy. He didn't want to do it, and I don't know. Perhaps I'll get somebody to help me. Perhaps Stephen, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Give it time. Give it time. I think Hakeem had a question. Hakeem, did you have a question about what we've been talking about? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Hi there. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm staying, trying to keep up weekly to immerse myself in all the features and products. I know we're using as a fertility clinic. We're only using probably 5 to 10% of the features of this product. I guess one thing I should ask is, do we have access to these recordings? Because one of the things I've been tasked with is to make sure that the patient portal is activated, and I had it done for version 5, but for some reason it stopped working and I haven't figured it out. So we're in the process. It's going to be upgrading to version 6, and I want to be sure that I'm up on all the specifics of how to implement and use the patient portal. And at some point, I'd like to volunteer to be able to do more tutorials, basic tutorials, because I have that as a previous and developing skill set. So I'd like to be able to see what, how we to walk through all these different processes and procedures for using the features.
Hakeem, if you're willing to do some presentations and things, and yes, we do have those available. We'll put the link in the chat.
Okay.
But I'm going to put my email in the chat as well, and we're happy to do presentations in the future. We've been looking for people to do what we call a lightning talk, 5, 10, 15-minute presentation on various things in OpenEMR. So happy to, we can correspond if you shoot me an email.
Okay, I'm on the phone here, so I'm not seeing the chat thing pop up here.
Oh, okay. Well, or just message me on the forum if you see the community forum.
Okay.
Posted.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do
Just
that.
message me directly and we contact that.
There's several tutorials on the portal in the developers forum. So the newest for patch 4 is up there and 2 threads, and then there's quite a few others for prior versions of the portal up there. And they just updated the wiki, which is going to have to get updated again because it's completely changed. Poor Sandra and Harley have trouble keeping up with me.
Oh, okay. Are they're located in are they located on you? I've been looking for the YouTube channel for the tutorials.
Yeah, I don't have anything on the portal up on YouTube.
You will in about an hour, Jerry.
Yeah.
Whenever this recording, whenever we're done here, Brady
Okay.
will get that up. So
this will go. Yeah, we don't have any to confirm. There's no YouTube videos that go over tutorials for the portal. It's all on the wiki or on the forum at this point.
yeah, outside of today's video, that'll be the first one, right?
Yep. Let me know when you want me to stop recording. I can. anytime.
I think
Oh,
there's
I
a
thought,
Let's just,
question. Jason Graff posted, will the portal update be included in the next patch for OpenEMR proper?
yes. Working on it now.
the PR with 20, how many, 25,000 lines in it, so.
Yep. Not done yet.
So that's an in progress, but yeah, that's the goal to answer the question. Yes.
I have a patch up there now that people can, in the developer forum.
Is
Yeah.
that patch basically the same code in the PR? Just so
Yeah,
it is.
almost the exact same code. Some few changes in the PR that's not on that patch, but
So this is going to be kind of a, yeah, this is, yeah, so it's good that this patch will bring in a lot of features. It sounds like essentially getting it up to date with the development for the portal stuff.
I've been working the last year and a half to get master and production as far as the portal goes interchangeable. I'm pretty much there. After this patch, if I fix the bug in one place, it's going to fix it in the other. Thankfully, hopefully, that's the plan.
Awesome. I don't have it. Are there any other questions as far as the portal? If not, I think we can probably stop recording, Brady.
Okay.